What's up, guys? It's your boy Hyrox El Jefe. I'm here with a new video just to talk about my experience in my first year of Hyrox. It's been absolutely amazing. What a journey. And I'm glad that I have a platform to share this with you guys because I feel like I can offer so many insights on the sort of lifestyle, the racing, the self development, who I'm connecting with. It's the full suite, so this is just a raw video of me being able to talk in front of you guys and share my experience. Where do I start? Just the lifestyle. Honestly, this space has been a blessing, and I've been able to connect with athletes all over the world, internationally, other continents, and most importantly, locally. I think that just being in this space just fosters an amazing environment, and I'm really glad that I'm connecting with a lot of new people organically and online. That's something that I didn't really expect, but at the same time, because we're training for either the same sport or we have something in common, like we appreciate endurance, it gives us this common ground that we can just talk right off the bat. I find that I'm spending a lot of time researching, improving my knowledge, and being able to pass that on to others along with, my content creation, my nutrition, how I'm training, and just soaking it all in from other athletes. Like, for example, I had a friend who said, "Hey, Jeff, you should definitely take a VO2 max test." And the next week I had booked it, I went, and I got an accurate reading of my heart rate levels, understanding how many carbs are burned per hour, etc., etc. It was an amazing experience, just to show, and I have a full video of that experience in my YouTube channel. So overall, lifestyle is one of the biggest factors of what I did not expect training high rocks and who I'm with. And then there's the performance aspect, which is one of the biggest parts of training for high rocks. I had been training for, let's say, 5 years straight on like a hybrid training split of running and lifting weights, but no actual purpose. But now having something to look forward to, year round, these competitions, training sessions along with people in the space, it's honestly such an amazing environment that I've totally unlocked, and I've been able to connect with so many athletes and share my experience with who I'm training with, and that alone just boosted my performance, my mentality, which we'll talk about later. But ultimately, training for performance is the top factor and the most critical thing of training for high rocks. What was I gonna say next? Yeah, so ultimately, training for performance is the number one factor in terms of how I've changed my training and how I've learned, how I'm applying what I've learned, and leveraging technology in that sense. Like now I have the Amazfit Active Round 2, and I've been using this for about 9 months, and it's given me a lot of insight, consistency, and tells me exactly how much carbs I'm burning or how much I'm exerting, along with my sleep, my energy levels, my heart rate, my HRV, all these recovery metrics. So this is giving me insight to how much I'm exerting my body, and along with performance. It's truly it's a whole other world. So the performance aspect is something that I truly embody, and my body is constantly changing. I'm researching and connecting with coaches about performance and understanding, where they came from and what they specialize in. So in that sense, I can create my own sort of specialty and understand how I can provide value to others in this space. So that's a huge part. I'd say the third part is actually being like appreciated by the community, based off how I am and my experiences when I'm sharing on social media. I really was not expecting this type of gratitude or praise for that matter, for what I'm doing. Like, for example, I had a friend that told me, hey, like, I didn't know about Hyrox until you. I had no idea what it was, but the fact that you're posting it, you're doing, you're passionate about it, I found out about it through you, which is me. So, in that sense, I'm really proud that I've been able to make a name for myself. I've been able to voice my opinion and share my experiences in Hyrox. Honestly, is when I did my first race, I said it out loud and I manifested. You never know where I'm going to be next. I knew that because this is launched on such a global scale, the possibilities are endless. And now I'm just thinking like, there's a Hyrox there. I'm gonna go do it. And more times than not, I say that when I'm gonna go do something, I actually end up going to do it, and I manifest, and I find a way to get it to where I need to be. So I have many stories on how this came to be, and this season had a number of stories from Cancun to Mexico City, Buenos Aires to Ottawa, Toronto. Like, it was quite the season. So 5 different cities raced in Hyrox, 7 total races, and hundreds of athletes that I've connected with, understanding performance, recovery, the sports science side, the mental side. It's been truly like it's been truly a whirlwind. uh, Moving on to my next point, I'd have to say, social media is huge, a huge component of this. I started posting to my Instagram account in about August. Yeah, so now we're July, we're 11 months into consistently posting, and now my Hyrox Instagram is actually getting more views on my stories and my posts than my main Instagram, and it just shows it's just being consistent and being yourself and being passionate about what you do and what you post. It just doesn't feel like work anymore. So I love the work. I love who I'm connecting with. I love who is seeing this information, and the reception that I'm getting back, and that are telling me like, hey, like what you're doing is great. Keep posting, keep it up. You're gonna make a name for yourself in this sport. And when I find something that I love and I'm passionate about, I'm gonna go to the ends. I'm gonna go find out the answer. And if I don't have the answer right in front of me, I'm gonna take the time to find who knows the answer, or I'm gonna go figure it out myself. So ultimately, it's been quite a journey, and it's been amazing who I've been able to connect with organically and through social media. Soon enough, the algorithm will be in my favor once I start to make more, different types of posts on a variety of spectrums in terms of like performance or workouts or techniques. I've tried a lot along with my experience just being traveling across the world. I find that it's been a journey. So like, for example, last trip in Buenos Aires, I was in the Patagonia the week of my race, and I made it a whole story that I'm going to do a road trip and I'm gonna get on a plane, and it's the road to Argentina. So I was like driving on the highway and I was creating content like I'm on the way to the race, and next thing you know, I wake up the next day, I got on a flight, and there I am in the race, and I'm constantly posting about my experience. So ultimately the reception I got from that was quite insane. Like, people were like, yo man, like this guy is like curating a story and a path for himself, and he's really just being free, and he's loving what he does. So ultimately, that's how I kind of want to portray my message, and that's how I feel like I'm pretty unique than others in some sort of way. Like, I found that going to the Patagonia the week before my race, that was a whole story itself. Like, I wanted to portray that there's a huge mental component of Hyrox, and that I needed to censor my mind, and that it was important that I just focus on what was right in front of me, which was the mountains. So that was really cool to share, and I can't wait to share more of this type of content. I'm still going through the archives of that trip. I have about 2,000 pictures and videos from that trip. So ultimately, yeah, that was quite a journey. So we covered performance, we covered social media, and then now I want to cover the mental side of things. So Ottawa has pretty tough climates, and we don't have the luxury of being outside or having good weather. So a lot of it is training is done inside, and on those days when you don't want to work out, and the days that you just say, hey, like, this is not the day, like, I don't have the energy to be able to do it, but then you go and do it anyways, and you show up to the gym like super late and you get that workout in, like, it is one of the best feelings in the world, and it fosters the most growth. So ultimately, like, the mental side of things and pushing yourself and being consistent in that matter is really, really important. Like, just telling yourself, okay, I have like three more wall balls, but then you trick yourself to do like three more. So then you do six. I tell myself so many times that if you quit now, you're probably going to quit in the race. And that mental training, that physical training that I did, and being real with myself with where my fitness was at in each training block, and also voicing it, bred results 100%. I was really honest with myself, and I wasn't competing with anyone else but myself. Like, it's my first year. I'm not trying to like podium or break records or anything. I'm really just trying to break my own. So being real with myself and just saying, hey, like, this is where you're at. This is the training block that you need to focus on. We need to get our compromise running. We need to get our strength training. We need to get our zone 2 running. We got to get our mobility. We got to work on our Pilates. We got to work on yoga. We got to work on cycling. At one point I even took on swimming just to improve my breathing in Hyrox performance. And this is the level that, and the lengths I would go to improve in the most marginal senses in Hyrox. And just having this open mind and be able to train and pick people's brains is really, really valuable, especially in your first year. So this is something that I want to share with you guys. Just be open and go in with an open mindset, because you're going into something new. And if you go into something with a closed mindset, you're probably going to be pretty limited in terms of what you can learn and apply. Like, there is an optimal way to do things, but I find that you don't need to do it the most optimal way the first time. You need to test, you need to research, you need to practice, and then you need to put into practice and see if it works. And this is how I go about my training. Like, I don't think there's like an optimal way to do, let's say, the sled push for the first time. Like, everybody's body's different. So the way that I'm doing, for example, the sled push now is totally different than 3 months ago, 6 months ago. But I'm learning through these training adaptations and experience and building this muscle memory. It's helping me adapt. And this is the coolest thing about hybrid training. You're constantly like adapting to your body and what it's telling you, and the elements. We're like running through extreme heat, or trying to run in the winter, or lifting weights that you've never done before, movements that you've never done before. So I find that this hybrid style of training opens the door to a lot of different training modalities, and being able to understand, like, okay, this is where I want to improve on. This is what I'm going to try to do to improve in this sense. And so if it's time or weight or duration, and then going out to test it and see if it works, and actually going to try it in the competition, it's really cool, because you could, I love the saying, like, you're only as good as your last race. And a lot of people bring up things that happened during their last race, like, oh, I got a penalty, or I was hurt, I got a cramp, for example. But these are all things that you could look back on and say, like, I learned from that. And a lot of people who tell me about who I am and what they say about me is like, Jeff is constantly learning. Jeff is always trying to find a way to learn from things and not be really critical on himself. And just being honest with myself, like, man, like, this pro race that I did in Argentina, I underestimated my fitness. I said, look, like I have to respect this race. I don't know what the training stimulus is gonna feel like or the race stimulus is gonna feel like. I've done the training stimulus in different sets in or different weights, the pro weight for that matter. And I haven't put it all together, but I would put myself through this training modality. So it was really quite a journey, and it was really heavy. But at the end of the day, like I put myself through it, and I'm the only one that's gonna get myself out of bed to go train hard, or eat the right food, or show up to these community events, bring the energy. I'm the only one that's gonna get myself out and go do this. So ultimately, like being who I am and showing up, I think it's showed who the real Hyrox El Jefe is, and I'm really proud of that guy, man. Like he's a fucking go-getter. Like he will do whatever it takes. He will learn. He will network. He will grind. He will run in the middle of the night. He'll be watching YouTube videos of like Hyrox podcasts, in the evening on the car ride, consuming everything Hyrox, just being immersed in the space and connecting with like-minded athletes and professionals, finding, different training styles online and testing them out, being able to have a space where I can train and just have fun, honestly. Because that's the most important part. Like, if you're doing this and you hate it, you're not going to go too far. But if you're actually having fun and you're enjoying what you're doing and you're really passionate and you're also seeing results, like they don't really come right away, but at the same time, endurance is a long-term project, guys. Like, you have to be really patient. You got to put in the hours, and you need to have some sort of structured program to get you to the level. Because when I started, actually, I was sort of like winging it. Like, I was doing like random Hyrox workouts, random strength training, and I didn't see that much improvement. I was able to like improve in the race by like 2 minutes, but then once I had the structured plan and I was like following it to the T, and I was pushing myself to work out even sometimes twice a day, 3 times a day, I found the most improvement. And that was from when I went to Hyrox Mexico to Hyrox Cancun, which was a span of like 89 days or 99 days between that training block. So just having that level of structure and being proud of the work you put in and getting to the start line in the best possible shape that you can is huge. And that's a big win in Hyrox. And I really tell people, like, you could say that I could have ran faster, I could have done this, I could have stopped less on the sled push, but I'm telling people that to get to the start line in the best shape possible and in the right mindset is a huge win on its own. And this ties into the mental part of Hyrox, of just showing up as your best self. And that's how I want to show up every day. That's how I want to continue to show up for myself and for others. And I got to give credit to how Hyrox has truly shaped how I am as a person, how I carry myself in public, and just having a platform to do this online. So I'm really happy that I've been able to share this with you guys, and thank you for listening to my little yap here. I'm gonna sign out and actually go crank out a workout and check out the new Hyrox space at Anytime Fitness. But more to come. Thank you for listening, and we'll chat soon. Till next time.